We can. Let me just forward the slide here. All right, so we're going to call roll. Chair Wendy.
I'm here.
Great. Vice Chair Magana.
Present.
Wonderful. Commissioner Snyder.
Here.
Great. Great. Commissioner Uri Chu.
Present.
Wonderful. Commissioner Jolly.
I'm here.
Great. Commissioner Allen.
Present.
Wonderful. Commissioner Ramtakar.
Good evening, everyone.
Great.
here.
Lovely to see you. Commissioner Thorson.
Here.
Wonderful. Commissioner Mendoza.
Here.
Great. And Commissioner Malillo. All right. I'm going to say he's running late. But we have a quorum. So,
Right.
yes.
So thank you. We'll move on to the consent calendar. As a reminder, we just changed last time to have in the consent calendar 2 items. 1, to approve the June 16th agenda, and 2, to approve the minutes and for the regular meeting from May 19th. Can I have a motion?
So moved,
have
Commissioner
a-
Allen.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Can I have a second?
I'll second. This is Vice Chair Magana.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Say nay. Are there any abstentions? All right, moving on. Let's see. Are there any, Danica, is there any reading, or do we have any correspondence that we need to read?
We have no correspondence to read.
Excellent. And then open forum. Are there any folks that are here that from the public that want to have time to address the commission? This is the time. And if so, you have 2 minutes on any discussion item. Is there anyone present who would like to do so?
We do have 2 attendees in the audience. To our attendees, if you would like to speak, I would request that you use the raise hand feature so that we know you would like to say something to us. And when I see your hand, I will select. And of course, if we don't have any attendees who wish to speak, that's perfectly fine as well. We just need to know if you'd like to speak. And by raising your hand, that'll let us know.
All right, nobody? All right, moving along. We are at discussion and action items. We have 2 action items tonight. The first action is the election of fiscal year 2021-22 officers. The commission needs to identify, vote to approve the commission chair and vice chair for fiscal 21-22. Are there any folks that are interested in taking on this year either of those positions and would like to address the group about it? Or anyone who'd like to nominate anyone? So Jose and I both have had a conversation and said if no one wanted to take this opportunity, we both are happy to stay chair and vice chair. But if there's others that would like the opportunity, it's really fun and great. You learn a lot. Both of us are more than happy to let somebody else have a chance to be the chair or vice chair. All right, going once, going twice. All right, so it looks like we will need to take a motion on. Can I do both, or do I have to do them separately?
You know, since I'm going to say that you could just verbalize it all into one motion, since there's no change.
Okay, so I'll need a motion on election of Chair Wendy and Vice Chair Magana to make it easy for everyone for the positions of Chair and Vice Chair for fiscal year 21 and 22.
I move that Commission Chair Wendy, I can never say your last name, and Commission Vice Chair Jose Magana continue for the next fiscal year 2021-2022 as commission officers.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Do we have a second?
Commissioner Jolly seconds.
Thank you, Commissioner Jolly. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those
Aye.
opposed say nay. And any abstentions? I'm going to abstain. And
I
Jose.
abstain.
All right, it passes. Jose, buddy, it's another year together.
Yay. Thank you so much for your service.
Absolutely.
Happy to. I couldn't have better partners and better folks to teach me the ways. The only thing is I'm worried Michael's leaving and he corrects me all the time and fixes everything all the time. So I'm scared.
Don't be scared.
One fuzzies.
And I mean it in a good way. Okay, second action item. We have the adoption of the fiscal year 21-22 commission work plan. The commission needs to vote on it and vote to approve the fiscal year commission plan to make sure that we are working on the focused areas that we'd like for the next year. Thank you, Danica. Before we get in discussion, can I have a motion to accept the adoption or to adopt the fiscal year commission work plan?
Vice Chair Magana, so moved.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second, Commissioner Thorson.
Thank you. Discussion. Is there any discussion that folks want to have or bring up in regards?
Commissioner Jolly has a comment.
Yes, please.
Since we just elected our officers, that is listed as an item in August. And it looks like we're adopting our work plan right now. That's also an item listed in August.
You are correct when you point that out. And so I will tell you the reason why that is. So every year when the commission has an election, we focus on making our elections in June. However, sometimes we aren't able to do that, especially if we don't make quorum or for any other reason. And so that's why you're seeing these two items listed in August as well. And so just in case we weren't able to make these decisions here right now in the month of June, we would have revisited them in the month of August when we all reconvened after the July break and holiday. And so moving forward, those two will be taken out of the August category since we were in fact able to do those two items here and now in the month of June. But I'm really glad you pointed that out because I think it's really great for everyone to see that and realize that that's the reason why. It's not a typo this time, I swear.
I appreciate the explanation, Danica. I would move that we adopt this work plan with the correction of the election and adoption taken out.
And we can definitely do that.
So great. And any other further discussion before we move? Thank you, Commissioner Jolly. That's great catch. Sorry, guys. Any other? Okay, any other comments or discussion? Okay, delivery and big dogs. Looks like did we have any other discussion?
No, it's good.
All right, the second with the, can I have a second on the amended work plan?
Second, Commissioner Allen.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? All right, work plan is passed.
All right.
Moving right along. All right, council liaison announcements. I can't see everybody, so you have to tell me.
Mariella is here with us.
Okay.
Mariella, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Hi, everybody. I'm Mariela Garcia, Council Assistant with Councilmember Arenas. Some good news coming out of just yesterday. The City Council unanimously approved the Mayor's June budget message for the fiscal year for the next fiscal year. And that included items in Councilmember Arenas's memo to prioritize children and families. And so we are really proud that a budget was approved that help identify some gaps that exist, in servicing our families most in need, and also helps remove barriers to ensure that no child or family is left behind in the city's recovery plan. And so just a few highlights to share with you, although there's a lot to dive into if you were at that meeting or if you've looked at the budget documents. But the first being that there is a commitment to a joint meeting of the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee and the committee as a whole, and also a county equivalent committee to really develop a child well-being strategy that utilizes future American Rescue Plan funds. And so we can expect that in August, and more to come. You're certainly invited. There was also the reallocation of $500,000 to transition children that participated in our COVID-19 childcare learning pods to save subsidized after-school care programs this fall. So that was a huge win. And there's also been direction given to staff to ensure that a scope of work for the Resilience Corps, which is going to provide, training, development of marketable skills, and a career trajectory for our youth to achieve a living wage. And so, like I said, there's a lot more to highlight, but I am really grateful to you all for following the process. And a lot of these items, are going to come through this commission in the next year. And so we're grateful also for your oversight to ensure that our families are being served. And that's all for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marielle. I also think, just correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't in the budget mayor's message the 500,000 for the family, friend, and neighbor in the libraries that he put in, which is a big win for us because that was a pilot program that got it readapted due to the pandemic. And so I'm super excited to see that.
Yeah.
And I know certainly Councilmember Arenas has been excited about it.
Yes, of course. Thank you for highlighting that.
Of course. Thank you. Okay, the only announcement I have is I was at the hearings, both for public input on the budget, where as library chair, I talked about the children in the budget message and the prioritization of children and families in the city, in particular, looking at childcare, early education, and continuing the work, of course, with the learning pods, and also the next day listening in on what got passed. So I was super excited to see. And then again, we're gonna certainly work with Councilmember Arenas and the whole council on the child well-being strategy for the city for the American Recovery Act funds, which should be really important. So that's the only announcements I really have. All right, Jill, you're up.
We are tearing through this. Okay, so as was just described, we recently completed several weeks of budget hearings, and the final adopted budget did include funding that would ensure full hours for 13 branch locations that are located in lower resource communities. And if you watched some of the budget hearings, you saw that the library was actually sort of featured as one of 2 departments that have used data to do analysis around budget impacts in terms of a kind of an equity mindset. And so we, as you all know, we've been doing our best to utilize data to achieve equity for a long time. And we continue to learn, what is the best data set, what's the best way to compare data in order to do these things. But in terms of where the city is right now, it was both kind of fun and rewarding to have the library be able to share the work that we've done. And again, there was a unanimous support for that plan. So as our libraries reopen, which is my next announcement, we do have 13 libraries that will have their hours fully restored on a 1-year basis. And the remainder of the libraries are going to experience a 4-hour reduction once we are at full hours again. And so we're going to be working by community to figure out where that reduction happens in order to minimize impact to the community. And so before I go on to reopening, I just want to thank all the commissioners, and especially Commissioner Thorson, for just the incredible amount of outreach and advocacy, showing up at every single budget hearing, and just being so incredibly articulate and helping sort of back the work of staff in terms of telling why libraries are important and why libraries should be funded. So I can't thank you enough. It's just my entire staff texts me how much they love hearing from you all when you give public comment. And I get all these texts that say Hillary with like thousands of exclamation points behind them. So thank you so much, Commissioner Thorson. And Commissioner Allen, I know you've actually helped with public comment as well. And I know that almost all of you help us behind the scenes in a variety of ways. So thank you for that. So on to reopening. We have already reopened 15 of our 25 locations. And we opened the first set on May 24th, the second set on June 7th. And we do have a proposed phases 3 and 4. The only delay at this point, honestly, is that because of the hiring freezes during the pandemic, we did have 95 vacancies, believe it or not. And so we are furiously working to fill those vacancies. And as soon as we can, the team is phasing in out the reopenings at the rest of the branches. And then King Library, we continue to work closely with San Jose State University to find the right time to reopen for in-person services. Currently, the State University has said that they are not resuming services until July. And so, you know, we're getting pretty close to that anyway. So we're working on getting a date, and hopefully King will also be open fairly soon. Just some late breaking news, as many of you are experiencing this week, we're having a bit of a heat wave. And so the libraries and community centers always work together to provide cooling centers. When we have this kind of situation, we provide warming centers in the winter and cooling centers in the high temperatures. And so this week we have the Joyce Ellington Branch Library is open as a cooling center, along with the Camden Community Center. And I want to thank Jenny Choi for her work on this. Whenever we get activated because of inclement weather, she always works across the city to make sure that we know how the library can help out. We also have an announcement about the library's early education unit is excited to offer a new service called We Read, Books to Go and Grow book bags at branch libraries as of this past Monday, June 7th. Each We Read bag contains picture books and a caregiver tip sheet. They can be checked out for 3 weeks, just like a book. We Read also offers 12 different themes falling under 3 series, including voices in our community, children and social emotional learning, and having bigger conversations. The We Read materials will help caregivers and early learning providers find and incorporate diverse and inclusive books into early learning activities. We Read topics include celebrating Black, API, and LGBTQ+ voices, acknowledging that life can be scary, and social justice. So to learn more, please visit the We Read Books to Go and Grow, say that 5 times fast, bags on our website. And then also, as this time of year, summer learning has kicked off strong. In the first 2 weeks of the library's annual summer reading program, there have already been nearly 2,000 signups. Summer learning runs from June 1st to July 31st and is available for people of all ages to join. By registering and logging minutes read, participants have a chance to win prizes. And I just want to say a couple more things about our budget. In addition to the hours, we, as Chair Wendy stated, there was a sort of late addition of $500,000 to enhance our family, friend, and neighbor training services, as well as really supporting the whole ecosystem of childcare in the city. And we're gonna be working hand in hand with our partners at PRNS and the council office to look at how to support childcare families and the transition of youth from learning pods into childcare or out of school time support in the next school year. We also did have approved a $500,000 increase to the San Jose Learns program, which is just amazing. So in addition, so it's a 50% increase, and that's going to allow us to work with our school district partners to allow more slots for kids in after school academic support programs. And so we're super excited about that. There's also an increase to the library to support the SJ Aspires program, which, as you know, is a micro scholarship and college and career readiness program. It was a pilot in one high school, Overfelt, and is expanding to San Jose High and one other high school, I think, which I'm going to forget. Maybe John can remind me, but expanding to more classes. So we're pushing that college going mindset lower into the grades, starting with 9th graders and 10th graders, and then allowing those youth to earn micro scholarships that could total up to $5,000 for use for any school related or training post graduation related expense. So very, very exciting. Those are just a few of the items that were in the budget this year, but a lot of support for both the libraries and our educational programming. And I think with that concludes my announcements. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions too.
Yeah, Commissioner Thorson.
Is it still the case that the funding for the 13 branches is one time only? So we'll need to be advocating to make that permanent and then restore the funding for the 12 other branches?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Thorson. That is accurate. It is a one-time increase that was allocated from the American Rescue Plan funds. So it is only one time, and it's good to keep reminding people because I think they forget pretty easily.
Any other comments or questions? I just want to say thank you. In a time where we thought one thing was going to happen, a completely different thing happened. And obviously it's from all the work that you and the staff do on behalf of everybody. So that's a great outcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And you know what, actually, I just forgot one more thing, if I could say. Because it feels like we've been doing it forever, but the digital equity work that the library has been leading has also been continued for a 2-year plan that we proposed. And so we will be continuing to work with schools to allocate hotspots to student households in need. We're actually going to increase the number of hotspots and devices that are circulated through the library, because as of like a week ago, we were at 100% circulation on the 3,000 hotspots we had. So we're recognizing that that's a really great program, and we are going to continue and expand that in the next year. And then we're going to be continuing to work with the Eastside Union High School District to do the build out of all of the community Wi-Fi networks. And so there's a lot of work going into that our amazing team is doing. Ann Grabowski, who you all know, is off today, and I hope she's having a great time and not watching this meeting. But she's been just leading a fantastic team in implementing a lot of this work. And so that's going to continue, and you'll hear more about it in the next work plan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No, 2 years. That's great. Okay, let's see. We're moving on to comments and announcements. Do we have comments or announcements from the Youth Commission?
I do not believe so.
Besides what we already kind of announced.
Yes.
Okay. Meetings attended by commissioners, as commissioners. Any commissioners, raise your hand. I'll call on you. I can see you all now that you want to share. Well, June was busy. All right, last call. All right. Anything, Commissioner Thorson, for San Jose Public Library Foundation?
Hi, everyone. So the foundation had board meeting earlier today, and we're introduced to Jody Pulliam, who's the new corporate partnerships manager. So she's going to be the primary staff person responsible for leading efforts and expanding and stewarding corporate association and employee giving relationships, and comes to the foundation with a lot of experience in the nonprofit sector. So it was really exciting to have the chance to meet her. Also, work is being done by the board members to have conversations with donors and to learn more about future priorities for the foundation, and additional stakeholders that will be part of these conversations are library leadership. And then the board has started brainstorming and planning for the foundation's 35th anniversary, which is really exciting. So stay tuned for more information about that. And then lastly, we always enjoy the career online high school graduations, and the next one coming up is going to be held virtually August 5th at 6 p.m. So also stay tuned for invitations to that. Thank you.
Thank you. We are moving along so fast. Okay, items for future commission meeting agendas. Would anyone want to offer up any other items that you'd like to consider for future discussions on our agendas in the fall or late summer? Going once, twice, and 3 times. We're gone. Okay, we're moving on. Meeting schedule. Let's see. Our next regular meeting is August, so summer is here. Happy summer to everyone. Hope everyone, now that California is open, tentatively takes steps out into the community and gets a chance to enjoy it. After that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I so move. Michael Snyder.
Oh, that's appropriate. Thank you, Commissioner Snyder. Can I have a second?
Commissioner Jolly seconds.
Thank you, Commissioner Jolly. Any discussion on adjournment? All right, those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? We are adjourned.
Thank you again, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. We're gonna miss
And
you.
do they know when they're going to go back to regular live meetings for commissions?
No, there was a discussion at the last or 2 council meetings ago about looking at hybrid meetings in the future, but they haven't rolled out like the final plan. But I think that the intention is to allow both in person and hybrid in the new fiscal year.